Habits are stored in a very specific part of your brain. It's this middle part right here called the basal ganglia. It's a completely different part of your brain than where creative thoughts happen, decisions are made, or memories are stored. It's a pretty primal animalistic part of the brain. The front part, right here, is called the frontal lobe, and is also known as the prefrontal cortex. That's a part of your brain where you create and maintain order, regulate emotions, really high-level stuff. Anybody who has ADD, this is the part of their brain that is different from average and why they have a hard time with the things that they have a hard time with. So it's great that our brains create habits and can do a lot of stuff automatically because we don't have to decide every single day where we're going to put our toothbrush in our mouth. And when enough things are on autopilot, we have more of our brain power freed up for important things like making really good decisions, using our brains effectively, being creative, and critical thinking. If you've ever seen a mountain like this, with those grooves in it, it's a really great analogy for how neural pathways work in the brain. Once a neural pathway is formed, and a habit is a neural pathway, it's forever. You can't erase it out of your brain. It doesn't just go away completely over time. It's always there in some capacity, lurking. So imagine if you took a bucket and you poured it over a certain part of the mountain. That would be like a stimulus. If a groove is there, the water could flow down that groove. And an old habit is going to be a really deep groove. So chances are you could slip back into it. And again, it's great that we have these habits because this is how we can get on a bike after not getting on one in 5 years and just go. But because this is all happening in that really primal part of our brain, it can't tell the difference between a good habit and a bad habit. So it just treats all habits the same. And this is how we get habits that we don't want in the first place and that don't serve us well. That we can decide, we don't want to be doing this, yet we still find ourselves doing it anyway. Habits are so strong that our brain will choose to go into habit mode over common sense. But just because a bad habit is in your brain doesn't mean you're going to be enslaved by it and fall victim to it every time. Think about how many people have quit smoking or broken any bad habits ever. What they've done, knowing it or not, is they've created a new routine so that when they crave whatever they're craving at the cue, they do something different that gets them that same reward. That's the big trick. However, it's a little bit easier said than done because you can't satisfy a craving for a reward if you don't know what the reward is. So you have to really, actually, for sure, precisely nail down the reward and the cue. And then you have to consciously cultivate this new routine happening so that your craving is now satisfied. So it is possible to figure out the components of a habit. It just takes a lot of work. But this is the way to do it if you're going to do it on purpose, because you have to work with what's already in your brain rather than against it, thinking that you can erase something that physically can't be erased. An example would be, let's say you get home from work and it's nighttime, and you have a habit of coming into your door, which is right by your kitchen, setting down your things somewhere in the kitchen, going up to the freezer, opening it, getting ice cream, and then sitting on the couch and watching Netflix until you fall asleep. Unless you've decided that you want to stop doing this because you're gaining weight, or you want to go to bed earlier in your actual bed, whatever the case may be. The first step that you need to do is figure out what's the reward. Why do you keep doing this? And list all of the good physical sensations, the good emotional payoffs that are happening, so that you can see all the possibilities. The routine should be fairly obvious. It's the thing that you want to stop doing. So lastly, you figure out the cue. Does this habit only happen when you get home from work? Does it happen when some of the same things are going on, but some of the things are different? Every time that you can do it, you want to make a note of what time it is, what's going on, what are you thinking, just as many outside factors as you possibly can so that you can really isolate what is the common thread. And from there, you can then figure out what's that new routine going to be. Let's say that you're pretty sure the main thing is that you're tired, it's the end of the day, and you want to relax, and that's a pretty big constant in your life. Then a new routine like walking into your house, bypassing the kitchen completely, going directly into the bathroom, setting your stuff down there, taking your clothes off, taking a shower, now you're ready for bed. That could work if a shower will also make you feel relaxed. But if that's not really what you're craving, this routine is likely to not stick, and you're going to find yourself craving ice cream after your shower. So if what you're craving instead has more to do with food and hunger and sugar, then it would make more sense to find a recipe for some frozen fruit desserts you can make from scratch that are pretty healthy, put that in the freezer, maybe not even have ice cream at all in the house, probably make it easier, and then you can try that. And then if you feel truly satisfied, you know that that snack will work, and now you found a new routine.